I don't think Graveyard ruined the game.
Can be very threatening.
But let's see. Alright, how Graveyard
In Clash Royale, there are
ruined competitive Clash, bro. I'm gonna try to not get triggered as much as possible. I don't know how I'm gonna react.
a lot of skeleton-related cards. They're your standard throwaway unit that usually won't do much on their own, but can be very threatening as a group. In 2016, you already had the Skeleton, Skeleton Army, Witch, and Tombstone, so it was a bit of a surprise to see that we would get another skeleton-based card. Graveyard would be a 5 elixir spell added in October 2016, which would essentially spawn skeletons. Why did we need yet another skeleton spawner? We already had 2. Well, the other skeleton spawners were a troop and a building, and Graveyard would be a spell, meaning it had some unique attributes like being able to be placed anywhere in the arena. It was 5 elixir, putting it on the pricier side, and it was legendary, meaning Supercell saw this as a very special card. It may just be another skeleton spawner at its core, but in reality, it introduced a whole new playstyle with a fresh new mechanic. So fresh in fact, that it actually broke one of the established norms of Clash Royale. This card is somehow simultaneously considered one of the higher skill cards to play, while also being luck-based. There is a lot to go over.
Bro, I knew he was gonna say this, man. Graveyard is not luck-based, bro. The RNG barely even helps Graveyard. Alright, continue.
So today we're going to go over the
I'm not gonna pause again.
entire history of the Graveyard, the decks it's thrived in, all the balance changes it's received, and talk about why it's fundamentally broken.
What?
This card was released
Bro.
on October 28th, 2016 as the second and final legendary spell. But what made this card legendary? The Goblin Barrel was already technically a spell that spawned units, so that was nothing new. Unlike the Goblin Barrel, the units it spawned were staggered, so you couldn't just wipe them all out immediately. This meant when countering a splash unit, it would be much more effective than something like a Skeleton Army. However, this was a big negative as well, because this meant you had to wait a while before getting the maximum benefit of the card.
Did he
If
just
you
put
wanted some
down a
quick damage,
defensive
Graveyard was
graveyard?
certainly not the go-to. You would almost never ever want to use this card on defense. Just for some perspective, not only were you waiting for your units longer, but when comparing it to something like a Skeleton Army, the number of units you were getting wasn't good either. A Skeleton Army gave you 16 units for 3 elixir, but a Graveyard gave you 17 skeletons for 5 elixir. Just one more skeleton for 2 additional elixir. It didn't seem great, but this card was never designed or meant for defense. This card was designed to be placed right on the Princess Tower so the skeletons could start whittling them down
Yes.
immediately. Realistically, skeletons would never survive long enough to make it all the way to the Princess Tower, so this was a huge benefit that definitely made it worth the extra 2 elixir. And you would actually want the skeletons to stagger when played like this. If all the skeletons appeared at once, the opponent could easily zap or log them away
Yeah, if
for
all of them appeared at once, it'd be the worst card in the game, bro. Obviously. It's just a move. It's like a skeleton army that moves.